Disney, listen to your fans, for crying out loud. What's up, everybody? Today I'm here to talk about Solo, a Star Wars stories, and why it flopped at the box office at the opening weekend. Before I get started, I'd like to say that I'm very low in energy because I've been sick the entire week. So it's hard for me to get in front of the camera and talk because I'll be sneezing. But anyways, hopefully I'll feel better towards the weekend. But I really wanted to talk about it because, you know, the stuff that I've been seeing out in the media is just kind of blows my mind. So anyways, we have the Solo release the Memorial Weekend, and movies generally do not do well during this holiday weekend. However, this is a Star Wars movie. And Star Wars, it's been a very established franchise that lasted generations and generations, okay? And it always brought a lot of people to the movies, regardless if it's Memorial Weekend or not. However, right now there's a lot of articles out there talking about trying to create excuses of why this movie flopped. So, one of the excuses that I saw out there is the fatigue. And this article is actually on The Atlantic. All the articles that I'm going to mention, I'm going to put it down below so you guys can check it out. So this article on The Atlantic says, with Solo, has Star Wars fatigue set in? So to me, this is an excuse, and it's again putting a blind, like this is closing your eyes to the truth, okay? The truth is that, in my opinion, fans are unhappy with the franchise, and they are unhappy with the way that Disney is dealing with these characters. And they should open their eyes and start listening to their fans. Disney, listen to your fans, okay? They're not really listening to people's criticism. And now the media, with all this fatigue, you know, since when Star Wars is going to give people fatigue? I think this is just a crazy way of going about it, because absolutely not true. I don't think it's definitely not fatigue, in my opinion. Let's take Marvel as an example. Marvel, they have been very smart in planning out all their movies, okay? One movie connects to the other and connects to the other, and they're all linked, and generally they're very well received by the audiences. And how many movies have we seen one after the other, and there's no fatigue there? So why would that be happening with Star Wars? It's just such an incredible and such a fans are so passionate about Star Wars. So fatigue, I'm sorry, my friend, whoever wrote this article, David Sims, fatigue is not the case here, okay? Definitely not the case. And then there's this other article on Forbes. It's another very established media out there. This is written by Scott Mendelson. And the title of the article is, As Solo, a Star Wars story flops, are movies about white men box office poison? I mean, for crying out loud. Of course not, okay? This has nothing to do with Han Solo being a white male. This is another thing. They're shifting the focus of the real problem just because this is excuses, you know, like it. Seriously? So again, let's take Marvel as an example. You see all these movies that are so successful, and they're mostly white male superheroes, okay? The majority. And why are they not a flop if that's the case? This is Star Wars, and this is Han Solo. So that's not the case, okay? And it's kind of tiring to see these kind of excuses out there, because I think what the fans really want is a recognition of the fans and the fans' criticism, which so far we haven't seen, okay? So far, I think the biggest problem is, number one, the backlash on The Last Jedi, and the fact that they did not listen to anyone's criticism. And on top of that, they attacked the people that actually criticized the film. Disney and not Disney, but like Lucasfilm's employees attacking the fans that are criticizing the film, calling them racist, you know, like, oh, it's too many women and you guys are all white fanboys and you guys are just not, you know, you can't have this many women in power and blah, blah, blah. Or they're calling them racist because of the diversity, or all this babbling about like crazy. I mean, are there races in this world that we live? Of course. I'm sure that there are some people out there that are truly racist and they really don't want to see any women in Star Wars. They really don't want to see any diversity. Of course, there are some people out there, you know, even this thing with people threatening the life of the Kathleen Kennedy or Ryan Johnson. I don't agree with any of that because, you know, you still need to be able to keep some sort of class, to have a intelligent debate about this, okay? So I was never for people threatening these people's personal life, but I believe that us, people as the fan, they have the right to criticize this film, of course, because this is a beloved franchise, and we want this franchise to go forward, and people are just not supporting it because they don't like the way that they're mishandling and treating beloved characters, you know? And then you also have Disney, instead of acknowledging that the fans are unhappy with these things, they just go on Twitter and go on the internet and they create even more controversy. Cast them like a week before the movie's release, saying that Lando is pansexual. Another thing that we haven't heard for all these years on an established character. And then they expect to everyone to just accept it and be okay with it. You're basically shifting the story of established character for absolutely no reason. It serves no purpose in the story, and people don't accept it, and you're just calling everyone racist, and everyone is bigot, and everyone is just don't like diversity and things like that. So, and then we have all the media and all these articles talking about, oh, it's flopping because of fatigue. Oh, it's flopping because it's Memorial Weekend. People are away. Oh, it's flopping because it's white men. No, it's flopping because you're not listening to people's criticism. And, you know, and I'm not talking about the racist people out there, because there are, for sure there are. But there are also fans that have legit criticism on the plot, criticism of mishandling beloved character, you know, like mistreating them and pretty much throwing them in the garbage so you can accept their new characters. And then agendas. I mean, when did Star Wars stop being fun? You know, just last night I saw A New Hope again, and oh my god, by the end of that movie my heart is just filled with hope, and it's just like, how much I love these characters. That feeling is no longer there, you know. I did not feel that with Solo. There are other factors that affected. Of course, there were major sports events going on the weekend. For instance, in America there was basketball, and soccer is not very big here, but it is big everywhere around the world, and we know that Solo underperformed outside the US as well. And we had the Champions League final going on, and that's a very big event that everyone is pretty much watching, but that's one day, okay? That still should not stop people from going to the movies and seeing a Star Wars film. So yes, now all these excuses are coming up because, of course, maybe it did take a couple of people did not go because they prioritized to watching these games, or they prioritizing going travel. But still, it's not the biggest reason why the movie underperformed, okay? It was a 4 holiday weekend, okay? And I'm pretty sure the people, they would take their time to go see a Star Wars film. They're just sick and tired of the way that they're handling the new franchise. You know, people genuinely did not like The Last Jedi. You know, people had legit criticism. Instead of having Disney talk to the fans, you know, in a polite manner and saying, we're hearing you, you know, you understand your concerns. No, they've been very arrogant about it. Of course, because they're the owners of one of the biggest franchise, you know, and I think they are cocky, you know. I think that they got to their level that they thought that Star Wars is unbeatable. With the box office proved this past weekend is that the situation is not really that fans do take these characters very serious. They do take their Star Wars, and they're very critical, you know, and they do want a good movie, and they don't want to see their characters being mistreated, you know, in the big screen, and they're surely showing that they're also not going to support. So this is what I'm a little bit confused with, all the media coming up with all these kind of excuses, but I haven't seen a big spotlight out there or a big media news saying that, oh, this is due to the fan backlash. Why are they ignoring the backlash? Like, do they still think that boycott was just a joke? Clearly it was not. The boycott, it was clear, had an effect on the Solo box office. You know, the backlash and the anger that people felt towards The Last Jedi, it's still very present, you know. You can watch many people still ranting about it out there. And then I've seen people doing videos kind of defending it, saying that fans shouldn't be really like being so harsh and criticizing and things like that. But if you don't criticize, how are you gonna change anything? Are you just gonna keep having movies that you don't like? So I believe that the fans have the right to criticize, because that's the only way you can create change, right? And now it's this polarizing thing, you know, where before united people from all races, from all colors, female, male, you know, and now gay, straight, and now people are just fighting because they're all picking different teams. So congratulations, Disney. That's your new Star Wars. So fix it. Listen to the fans. Listen to people's criticism. I have no problem with diversity, but I have a problem if you're literally forgetting the Star Wars lore because you want to preach some agenda, you know? You're just, please get people that love these films, you know? To begin with, we know the Kathleen Kennedy. She's a very accomplished woman, you know, and I admire her for all, like, if you look at her list of movies, it's incredible, okay? But she is not a Star Wars fan, okay? I have absolutely 100% sure that she doesn't understand the lore in the way that you should. And then stop saying that you don't have to cater to the fans. Who are you making these films for? Are you making these films for yourself, to please yourself? Well, you're gonna see the result on the box office. And then stop with stupid excuses saying that it's a white male, or people can take women in lead roles, or it's you know, people are racist and blah blah blah, because there are many other films out there that prove the contrary, okay? How many other female lead films that have made a ton of money, as well as male lead films that had made a ton of money? People just, it's not about that. It's about giving us the fans a good story, especially when it comes to Star Wars, okay? Stop giving us meh film or average film. Like, if you see the review of Solo really didn't work for me. I know you can check my spoiler review and my spoiler-free review if you haven't seen. It didn't work for me for a lot of other reasons. I didn't have the feeling of Star Wars in that film. However, it does have some fun moments, you know, it's like dumb fun, and the story was crappy. And I've seen Swen. Stop giving people meh film or average film, for instance. You know, since when Star Wars is supposed to be meh and average? You know, it's, you know, if you continue creating films like that, they're just not gonna linger on, and people are slowly going to, you know, just go back to the originals and forget about this. You know, obviously Star Wars resonated for generations because of something that you guys are missing, and that is those human relations, that friendship, you know, that those characters that were very likable, okay? Even though George Lucas had some politics involved, it was not about the politics, it's about these characters. And right now, it's the completely opposite, okay? It's about these agendas, and screw the characters, you know? Like, what you did to Luke Skywalker is just terrible, you know? The way that you finish Han stories, for instance, is terrible, okay? The way you had Leia floating in space like that, it is just terrible, okay? And then Kathy Kennedy said that the most important thing when they took over was to make these characters, you know, true to the characters George created. And then we get Luke Skywalker milking a sea cow. I mean, that's true to the character that George created? I beg to differ. I'm sorry, okay? So I don't know, you know, and now instead of they acknowledging that there is a problem, you know, they should be acknowledging, they should be listening to real criticism, okay? Obviously ignore the real racism, but like, there's people that are actually criticizing the films and they're not listening, okay? And then now they're having the result that it happened, you know. Like, there's another thing that blows my mind, that Disney, you know, Lucasfilm is such a rich company. They have so much money to hire the best writers, directors, you know, and put people that actually love the lore to actually give the fans something satisfying. But instead, they're suffering of lack of creativity, okay? They're so... And then what do? They go and take beloved characters that are already established, that everyone loves, and they just destroy them. Why can't you create characters that people love? Do you really think that years from now, people are going to be talking about Rose Tico and Hodo? No, because they were not likable characters. And that's nothing to do because they're women or because of their appearance. It's because they're annoying characters. They're not likable at all. Same with L3. She's an annoying character. People are not going to relate to this character. And they're forgettable characters, You're missing the point. I believe fans don't want Star Wars to die. And that's why this right now, I see it as a tough love. They actually want the movies to go forward, but they also want their characters to be treated well. They want the franchise to be handled with love and care. Disney, listen to your fans. The whole thing about Solo as well. Solo is not a movie that is the worst movie, okay? I have not even close the level of aversion that I have to The Last Jedi, okay? The Last Jedi, I'm probably never going to see it again. Solo, I'll give it a pass. Even though I thought the movie was meh, average, the story was crappy, a lot of things crappy in my opinion, but it's still an okay film, okay? It still have like some beautiful, nice adventure, and in my way of seeing it, it didn't really destroy characters the way that The Last Jedi did. The people that saw it, all the reviews are also very average and meh, okay? Rotten Tomato scores right now for the fans stands at 63%. Some of the fans are still even liking the film. It's better than The Last Jedi for sure. But again, it shouldn't just be meh, it shouldn't just be average. It should be filmed like a really awesome film with really depth, Like, for me, I would have had a Han Solo story that focusing more on Han Solo as a character and his development. Where did he come from? Who are his parents? His relationship with Chewie, and not him, and not other characters surrounding him. It's just I'm not going to get into that because I already have a no-spoiler review and some people might not have seen the film yet. So I believe that the whole thing with Star Wars is really suffering. It's not from fatigue or because it's a white male or because there's too many women or because there's no women. It's nothing of that. It's just stupid agendas, unrelatable characters, stories that do not make sense, and it's no longer escapism. It's no longer hopeful. It's actually depressing. The Last Jedi is depressing, okay? It's horrible. It's just... And then you're not even listening to what the fans are asking for. People have been asking for an Obi-Wan Kenobi film, and then you give a Solo film, No one wanted to see a Solo film. It's out there, now it's done, but why don't you give us Obi-Wan Kenobi film? People want to see Jedis and Sith. Great stuff from the Old Republic would be great, and I would rather have a new trilogy about other Jedis and things like that than seeing our beloved characters being destroyed, because as long as they're not destroyed, they're still in your imagination. They're alive somewhere out there. But anyways, unfortunately, I just think that Disney is really suffering of this bad PR, backlashing on fans, not acknowledging criticism, and just now the media with all this stupid thing, fatigue and white male and all these excuses. But the truth is, listen to your fans, okay? Listen to your clients, because the fans are the ones buying products. They're the ones going to the movies, buying toys and all this stuff. So you should acknowledge them. But anyways, guys, this is the end of my discussion. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Star Wars is suffering of fatigue, or do you think this Solo bombed because of fans, the backlash, the boycott? What do you think? How do we go from here? What do you think Disney should do in order to bring the magic back for us to the fan? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye.